Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to run the MATLAB program and I will talk through. The reason that we're doing this is that it can be a bit hard to show the exact motion of the robot without actually looking at the motion. So what we see here is that the robot has been prescribed this purple line, and it's seeking to, as closely as possible, match that purple line. This is a demonstration of the motion controller and the inverse kinematic controller. So as we can see, it does in fact follow the line pretty closely. There are a few wobbles. A bit about exactly what we're seeing, why there's the different colors. I have orientation of the robot mapped to different hue values. And so as the robot turns, you'll see that the color of the robot changes as well. And so we can see that the robot is in fact following the prescribed line decently well. As we can see, the orientation of the robot is pretty clearly shown with the proboscis out in front, as well as the color of the robot itself, with position being shown by the location of that little dot. You'll see that at the beginning, the robot kind of oscillates back and forth before it really straightens out. This is expected due to the fact that the inverse kinematic controller is underdamped. So right here, it's making a turn, so it's going to wobble back and forth just a bit before it settles down. So that was motion with pre-planned paths. And now what we're going to see is the robot building out the path as it's executing it. So with this one, it's the exact same path as we showed before. But it's doing a pretty good job of following the line, and as we can see, it more or less replicates the path we saw before. With this one, we're going to see something a bit different, but right here you have a bit of seeking behavior. I believe that's because there was another cell that it believed was a better option than before. Well, we see it checking that cell, found that it was non-ideal. Checked another cell, that one was also non-ideal. And as it's doing all this, it's building out its vision of the world. And eventually it goes back to following that original line. And the last one, same as before, we see that oscillation. I think the reason that we are seeing less of it than before is because the robot isn't necessarily trying to hit the center of the target location as much as it was before. But overall, in the middle, it had that moment where it had to look for exactly where it wanted to go, right about here, but it quickly found the correct path. And that's it.